Welcome to the podcast. This is Eric Salzman, joined by Richie Bennett and Kevin Doherty. How are you,
Hey
fellas?
guys.
What's
Morning.
up?
You know what's up. It's another day, another all-time high for the stocks.
You cannot stop it. You can only hope
No.
to contain it. Like in normal times, right? Like that number was kind of strong this morning, right? The unemployment number, more job gains. First time there's back-to-back job gains in a year, right?
Wow.
The unemployment rate stayed the same. All points go toward the Fed, like really not wanting to do anything other than hike, maybe, like isn't that the whole thing? Like if you have a stock market that just keeps going up, that's like a potential bubble, and they don't like bubbles. But I guess if you had a hike right now, you'd see a smashing bubble, an
So if
exploded
I
bubble.
look at I can look at the June meeting right now, the Fed's June meeting, the probabilities of no hike, 71. Now, the probabilities of a hike are 16%, but an easing is also like 14%.
Mm,
So, which seems to be a little better than it was like last week. There was like no chance at all of any easing,
mm,
um, which I guess shows you the market that's clear as mud, right? Like no, no one
right.
really, everyone's got an opinion. But like you just said, Richie, when you look back at the last meeting and how three governors basically, or two presidents and one governor basically said no, like we don't want that language in there that says we kind of have an easing bias. Like no,
Mm.
that was the so yeah. I don't see the Fed doing much of anything probably for the rest of the year. Maybe
Yeah,
not.
I think they're going to be on hold. I think. Not to mention, oil still high. That's causing crazy inflation. We got up to like four. The guy around the corner was like 470 for regular, which
That's
is,
a lot.
yeah, it's a lot.
Florida too, right?
Yeah, it's a lot. And they're not, an outlier. Kind of everybody was right around there. So I refuse to like put more than $15 a whack.
Right.
And
It's depressing.
I'm waiting for the big drop. I'm
You're
trying
rolling, right?
to,
You're rolling it forward.
yeah, playing a gasoline market,
Did,
retail.
do they even have gasoline in Berlin, Kevin?
You know,
Are they out?
they lowered the taxes starting on May 1st because the taxes here are high on as everywhere else in Europe. But it's about 2 euros per liter, which would translate to about 8.50 a gallon
Yeah.
Jeez.
in US terms. But before they lowered the tax, it was up to about 2.20.
Wow.
And so, yeah, but it's
They're
still
talking.
pricey.
They're talking about doing that here too for the summer, like putting a 0% federal gas tax. I
Yeah.
don't know what the states are doing, but
Well, the real concern is just forget about just the price, but if they don't have the supply, they're going to have to start cutting things like flights. And there have been talks about, having even rationing for cars going in to
yeah,
fuel up. So
the old back to the old days where
A
they
day, B day.
back to the
your
seven.
license
Yeah.
plate, like license
Yeah.
plate odd or even, which
Yep.
what's the last number?
I've definitely noticed driving around Berlin, there's less traffic on the roads.
Yeah.
I think people are really driving less. And
Mm.
again, it's notable. I just picked up my kid from school, and it's Friday evening here. It's usually pretty, there's a fair amount of traffic, and it was very light.
So
So
there's the upside.
yeah,
There's the upside. Like COVID was great, right? The
COVID,
roads were
yeah,
completely
yeah.
empty.
Just walk
The
down the
smog
street.
cleared, everything was oh man.
But to go back to the stocks, so there was a great article, a little tidbit in the Journal today in the Heard on the Street section, and I couldn't believe the numbers. I had to read it like twice. The dividend yields on some of these stocks, some of these old boring stocks, like our friend Conagra, Campbell's Soup. Conagra's dividend right now is 10%. 10.
Wow.
And it didn't the 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 tenor of the article is like don't count that as free money, right? Like usually
That's
when they
weird.
get into that kind of trouble, they're going to cut them. right? Like Whirlpool yesterday cut their dividend after paying for like 70 years, right? So it could happen, but some of them have enough cash.
What was
And
that, Richie? What's that one you had that where it's the guys who've raised their dividend every year for
oh yeah, the
25?
dividend aristocrats.
Right. Were
Yeah,
they in it? Were they in that?
Whirlpool must have been, yeah.
Oh boy.
I think they were. And that stock got hammered yesterday. But what it showed too was like 20 years ago or 25 years ago during the dot-com era, like Conagra's dividend was like 2%, 2.3, something like that, regular, just kind of like nice. And treasuries, like 10-year treasuries at that time, 20 something years ago, 6%. So now you have Conagra at 10% dividend, 10-year notes at 440. It used to be at 2, and the stock just keeps kind of dropping because I guess people don't eat. I don't know. They make a lot of good food that we all eat. What you call it was in there too. Kraft, Heinz. Right there.
What's the deal? Like, why is everyone pounding on
I think
a powerhouse like Conagra?
I don't get, like, they all use the inflation terms, right? Like inflation. And it's like, yeah, but inflation affects everybody. Like, how come the back goes up 30, 50, 75 points a day? Like, if you don't think that those guys are going to get hurt, you're nuts, right? Like, everything goes up in price.
Right.
But I guess they have to, like, weigh, a lot of these food companies have to weigh, like, do we raise our prices and, risk losing more customers? Got walloped yesterday, and I figured that was going to happen. Shake Shack, like, they're New York based, but they're a chain now. Like, they try to always pass themselves as like better than fast food, but it's a burger joint, right? I think their burgers are like $22. It's not like a steakhouse burger. It's a go in.
It's a burger.
Take your number. You want fries with that, sir? How about a soda? It's a little cleaner, right? Than a Mickey D's or a Burger King, but that's it. And they said, we couldn't raise our. You can't charge 25 for a burger. You can, but I don't think people are coming, and that's what happened. So the stock went down like 30% yesterday. 30.
Yeah, I mean, the margins are probably, just minuscule, right? For that kind, especially like maybe that's the other thing with the food, the Conagra's is that the margins, like I know, all the grocery stores, the margins are like razor thin.
Yeah.
So they have to pass, they don't pass it on, and
They're going to lose.
they're losing money as soon as they turn the lights on every day.
Yeah.
Does Bobby Vans still do free chicken wings during happy hour in Manhattan?
I don't know. I haven't been in a long time. The last time I was there, they did not. They were not doing any free anything.
I frequented
that's the real pinch.
Yes, it is.
That guys like us are worried about.
Nothing's free nothing's free there. I'll tell you right now.
No.
The last time I was there, kind of funny story. Well, kind of funny. It was I was with a couple. It was a couple of guys, and everyone was, it was everybody in this. It was this regular street crowd had piled in for the, and one of the gentlemen I was with got a little drunk, and we were eating the lamsicles, the little pops, and yeah, I don't know, somebody like bumped into him or something like that. So the guy was like, "Hey," our guy was like, "Hey, have a lamsicle or something like that." The guy got angry at him. He was like, "Here, let's make up here. Have this," and he put and he ended up. The guy's like, "No." And he ended up shoving it right into the guy's nose.
Come on.
And I was just like, all right, I wasn't much of a fighter when I was 35, but I'm definitely not a fighter now. Like, you guys have at it. And they basically tossed about 6 or 7 people out of Bobby Vans.
All right.
Yeah.
Was this the one on by the Grand Central?
Yeah, right there.
That's a tight,
original, right?
Yeah. That's tight quarters too. You don't want to get too messed up.
It was nasty. Yeah. All right. Kevin, you have some awesome news for us. You're gonna show.
I do.
You're gonna show your podcast mates and the audience how to make some fast money.
Well, I hope so. Yeah, I guess I should say not financial advice and all that bullshit, but getting that out of the way. There's a really interesting development this week with a cryptocurrency protocol that I think is the protocol with the most realistic potential asymmetric upside that is we talk about liquid venture capital, that crypto is liquid venture capital. It's an early stage project where if they hit, we're talking big returns. And this one is frankly my single favorite one out there. And there was a big development in it this week. It's the many of you probably have this app on your phones called Telegram, right? It's one of these communication apps. So Telegram has 1 billion users worldwide. And that's critically important because, and I'll come back to why that's important, but a very, very quick background. Telegram, the company existed, and then they launched a token, a cryptocurrency token. God, must be now 7 years ago. And the SEC came in and warned them that this was a security offering and please take it back. So Telegram, the entity, said, all right, we're going to separate out the token completely from who we are. We're interested in it, but we're not going to directly be tied into it. And they paid a big fine to the SEC. And they played this game of pretending they really weren't supporting the token over the years, but everybody knows that they have done. This week, Telegram announced that they are officially going to support this token. They're going to be the largest, what's called validator on it, which basically means they're going to make it run. And they have recently announced also an initiative for all different different features of the token that are going to integrate it more with the Telegram app on your phone. So all the advertising on Telegram is going to be paid through these tokens. People who advertise on Telegram, or if you have a Telegram channel and there's advertisers that pay to be on it, you receive tokens for that. So it's really integrating the token into the business itself. Now, why is this important? Because the biggest problem with all of these cryptocurrency protocols is something in the tech world called the cold start problem. And that is, especially with social networks or anything that needs a lot of users, if you start at zero, it's really, really hard to grow a user base because you're competing with other companies that already have a user base. Telegram is unique. And by unique, I mean it is the only one in the cryptocurrency ecosystem that doesn't have that problem because it has 1 billion people who are already using the Telegram app. And the token is being fully integrated into that app. So why is this interesting? Because basically this Telegram could be one of the winning smart contract platforms in cryptocurrency. So think of Ethereum. Ethereum is the biggest smart contract platform, the unquestioned market leader in that space. There are a couple of others that are trying to compete with Ethereum. And I think Telegram has a real chance of competing and being one of the top 2 or 3 smart contract platforms. So that announcement happened Monday this week. The token price doubled, but the token price doubled. Its current market capitalization is just above 7 billion US dollars. That's still a tiny fraction of Ethereum. That again, Telegram has, think of it again as venture. This is not a 50% likelihood to hit, 40%, even if it's 10%. The valuation differential is so huge that there's enough potential upside here to be interesting. So Ethereum's market capitalization is $280 billion. So 40 times the market capitalization of Telegram token or Toncoin. There's another comp that I think is interesting. If you know, certainly anybody who's been to China is aware they have this do everything app called WeChat. And Telegram is sort of aiming to be like what WeChat is, but with a global audience. WeChat has 1 billion users in China. It's owned by Tencent, which is a big conglomerate in China. WeChat accounts for about 50% of the revenue of Tencent, and Tencent's market cap is $550 billion. So just, roughly you could say, let's say WeChat is half of the value of Tencent. What does that give you? Very interestingly, almost exactly what Ethereum's market cap is today, 275, $280 billion. So I think it's a semi-realistic case, again, thinking like a venture capitalist, thinking what is the potential market here? What's the value here? Ethereum today, with in still an early stage in the smart contract platform development, has a market cap 40 times greater than Telegram. So that's your blue sky upside.
Mhm.
And they've made it clear this week that they really are now pushing full integration of the token and the Telegram app. And so I think this is something that's very, very interesting. And it's also pretty very widely under-owned in the cryptocurrency community. People have very strong views about this. There are a handful of funds that really like Telegram, and it's for those people who like it, it's often their biggest position. But for a lot of investors in crypto, they don't like it because it's seen as more of a centralized application that's tied directly to Telegram rather than something like Ethereum, which is, wide open and very decentralized. But there's an argument that decentralization doesn't matter. If you have Telegram, the app with a billion users, and the token gets fully integrated in all the operations of that, that's a very interesting use case. And
So it's called Tonkin. Is that what you said?
Toncoin, Toncoin,
Toncoin. Okay.
is the another interesting thing. It used to be very hard to buy that token, but you can buy it on Robinhood right now.
That was going to be my next question. Can I get
Yeah,
it?
you
Is
can
it
get it.
yet?
And until a few months ago, you couldn't even buy it on Coinbase. So especially for Americans, it was very, very difficult to buy. It's become very easy to buy, and so that's an attractive addition as well.
What is it trading? You said it doubled.
Yeah,
What is dollar? Is it a trading in
it's
dollars or
yes, it is about $2.70
for a coin?
for per token. And the,
Hmm.
the important thing, if anyone's going to do this, unfortunately, one thing with crypto is there are a lot of tokens that can get issued to try and fool people and make them think that it's what they're looking for. That's a problem on Coinbase, unfortunately. Um, on Robinhood, it's pretty straightforward. I bought some on Robinhood the other day, and it was the only one that showed up. Excuse me. So there weren't like 10 that you had to choose between. But just the thing to look for, like right now, as we're recording this on 11:20 East Coast time, Friday, May 8th, it's trading at roughly $2.70 and it has a $7 billion market cap. So if you can find that, and it's called Toncoin, Ton coin.
Got it.
I don't know if I'm legally allowed to buy Robinhood. I'm I'm still under I'm still under investigation with them.
Oh, is it?
This is that I wrote the article on Tiny
Oh,
Substack, yeah.
right.
They may not let you open an account.
Or just they'd pilfer it from me after I open
Let them buy it.
it. You know what? If Vlad didn't go out there wearing a Formula One racing suit,
Yeah.
then that's what I think the real problem is.
Yeah. I mean, I think, but they're playing to their audience, right?
Sure, sure. Well, speaking of that's great, Kevin. Let's get right into the kind of associated with Robinhood. It's going to be Polymarket and Kalshi and the
Mm.
prediction markets in general. And the Wall Street Journal came out with an article, I think it was over the weekend, or maybe early this week, why almost everyone loses except a few sharks on the prediction markets. And essentially 0.1% of accounts on Polymarket take home 67% of the profits. And there was a very interesting analogy, and Rich, you'll get it. Rich, you've wagered a few times in your life and maybe
Yes, invested.
set it in a poker game once or twice. So
Yeah.
tell us, give us the analogy of what's actually going on here.
Well, the one funny one, and I think Warren Buffett used to use it a lot, which was pretty good. The analogy, one of them is if you're at a poker game and you don't know who the dummy is within 30 minutes, it's you, right? So a lot of these guys try to figure out like, all right, who's got the weak hands? Who's got the weak hands? And it's like, why is my pile of chips going to the other guys? And then you realize, oh, these guys are sharks. They were all, I mean, highly illegal, but back in the day, back in the good old days, you'd have like the house, the pit bosses and stuff would try to, conjure up some games, poker games with, good players. So they'd have a list if there were a lot of people on a waiting list. And all the house ever did, unlike in like blackjack or sports betting or craps, it wasn't like zero sum in the sense that if you won, the house lost.
Right.
All they do in a poker game is, and it's pretty amazing to watch because some people I've seen complain, but it used to be like a science and it took too long. But they take about 10% of the pot, right? Maybe 5% but these guys are so good. The dealers are so good now. Like the hand ends and they just go and put that in their till, right? And that's it, right? So whoever won the hand gets the money. The house gets their little cut and everybody's good. So the sharks would probably, I mean, there have been scandals where sharks would pay the house, the pit bosses, to funnel them to games where the weak hands were, right? So if you come to the table and you're a good player and you're like, Joe, if you can get me, that rich guy that's a bum, he can't play for shit. Like I'll give you 20%, right? Whatever I win, and I'll kill this guy. I'll fleece him. And he's like, yeah, okay. So there was like arrests back in the day. Like this happened all the time. Right. So the beauty of this game, the Kalshi and Poly market, is it sounds like they're like just out in the open about this, right? Like that's what the Journal basically exposed, right? Like if 0.1% is taking 67% of the profits or of the winnings, like there's definitely a situation where they're like, okay, you guys come to the table, we got all these other guys, and we'll make sure you win. Like you drive the bus, right. And that's clearly what's going on, right? It's clearly. I had no idea. So there was that article. There was another one, but I had no idea that how liquid in certain of these markets, these prediction, some, obviously politics or whatever, but sports betting, stuff like that, like how quickly it developed into like a secondary trading game. So like I couldn't figure it out. I'm like, okay, so what happens so if you want to play in something, invest in something, and it costs 40 cents, it'll say whatever it is, so and so to win the next election, 40 cents. So the payout for one contract is $1. So if you buy that contract for 40 cents, you're taking a slight underdog, right? It's not 50-50, but you'll make 60 cents if you're right. And if you're wrong, you lose all your money. What people didn't understand, including myself and a lot of others, as news would come out, those markets would change. So if you might have bought it at 40 cents and tomorrow it's worth 52. And now you can sit there and say, well, I don't know if it'll be completely correct, but I can make 12 cents right now per contract. Mm-hmm. I'll do it. So these guys, Susquehanna has been mentioned, so large hedge funds, and I knew something was up when Solomon from Goldman Sachs said, we are very interested in the prediction markets. Very interested. I was like, there's money here. There's somewhere there's money.
Okay? Warning.
Yeah. And and that's what's going on. So like I guess a lot of these guys are getting funneled. And Susquehanna makes the bid-ask spread.
Yep.
Goes on and goes on and goes on. Millions and millions of contracts trade. And people think
that's who's in it with Robinhood. Susquehanna and Robinhood
right.
got together. Yeah, I mean, and in a way, it sounds a lot like high frequency trading, which is what we've always talked about. It's kind of the same game, right?
It has to be.
I'm paying you to bring these guys to me. Generally, the guys you're bringing are retail traders. I'm Susquehanna, Jane Street, Wolverine, any of these super sharp guys. And it's kind of the same thing, right? And in this case, they said these guys are paying millions of dollars for information feeds are coming in constantly.
Mhm.
It's probably not even a human anymore. It's probably just algorithms constantly reading and updating. And like you said, they're making markets on this stuff. And you got guys like in the article, there was one guy, I think he wasn't homeless when it started, but he was down on his
Oh
luck.
yeah, it was almost at the
And
end.
he made, he made I think he made up to $41,000
And then
and
he
he
let it
bet
all
it
ride on
all
something. Yeah.
that some rapper was going to actually use the word rapper in an interview. And he lost.
And the scariest thing, the saddest thing, and he's okay with it, I guess. He did say rapper, and the network cut the interview, so it
Yep.
never showed up on the broadcast. But if you saw the full on YouTube, I guess the full
Yes.
interview, he does say rapper,
Right.
and he's like, "Yeah, those are the rules, I guess. I lost my 41 grand. I'm in a homeless shelter."
He is. I mean, literally, he is. I'm looking at the picture of him now.
He's got
He's
the
now
face
homeless.
tattoos too. Yeah, he's got the
He's
face
like,
tattoo.
I guess there's a better, I guess I should have known there's a better way for me to make money. Or
But
whatever.
he didn't give up. He said he's going to go get a job as a mortgage salesman, right? He's going to
Oh,
try to sell mortgages. And then they asked him if he would get back into the prediction markets. He said, probably. Right on. So the
Well,
guys,
some of them, like the politics, elections markets, or
yeah,
just like sports, like, okay, that's fine. And there can actually be something useful about like political event markets. But the stuff where it's like, is this person going to say that word? That is just a whole different thing because it's easy to manipulate. You're not going to manipulate an election because
correct.
there's, a
Some
hundred
guys,
thousand dollars bet on it.
yeah.
I mean, there's
so
still randomness there, or uncertainty, I should say, not randomness, but
where
uncertainty. But
where do
there's no
you
uncertainty if you tell the guy, hey, when you sing the national anthem, make sure it's 4 minutes and 23 seconds and not 4:32.
You're right.
there's
The
so much comedy. There's so much comedy potential
Oh,
there.
it's great. It's great. Somebody's got to be
Now,
working on the movie right now, right? So,
who makes the markets for like these mentioned markets? Similarly, the kid from Texas Tech, who now probably won't be getting his $5 million, the quarterback that was coming in from Cincinnati, and
yeah.
now they said he would be sitting there at the Reds games, and he would just be betting on like micro bets all day long. So that this next one's going to be a ball, this next one's going to be a strike.
Yeah.
What platform is that on that you can make those types of trades? Because it's the same crap, right?
Yeah. I mean, I guess they just have thousands and thousands of markets that they show, and I guess Susquehanna feeds the market, and just the price is where it is. They try to find buyers and sellers to match, right? Because the
Right.
house doesn't take any risk, right? But
I
yeah,
know before all this, like in tennis, there were big markets going
oh
back, 20 years. I mean, we used to do this on the desk. Um, when I was working, we'd be betting tennis matches, and you could bet point by point by point in these live markets. And and those were very liquid. You could bet
yeah,
way too much on those.
and they got caught, right? There was a couple of scandals in that. I think
Yeah,
a couple of fixed matches,
yeah.
6 points or whatever. Um, but they also said, which was interesting in that one article, that when you bet the yes or no, he's going to say this or he's not. The no comes out 60% of the time, and many people bet the yes, right? Like that's the
Mhm.
game. So they drew an analogy. They said, so it's not a 50-50 market like you think. So the vig there is like 11%, and that's worse than the average slot machine takeout in Vegas.
I saw that. Yeah, yeah.
So like it's really rigged. Like this is and the average takeouts in slots in Vegas is when they really compete. There used to be a magazine that put them out. I don't know if they do anymore. They used to show like the monthly take by each hotel. Like they had to announce that, right? But a lot of it, when it was hot, things were smoking, it was like 5%, right? Like so that's not that bad. I mean, right? Considering, right, you're going to have a good time. So when these guys are doing 11 on just yes and no bets, I mean, this is like license to print money. These guys are
And
like,
no comps, right? You don't get the free buffet, you don't get any
no, no,
drinks. No comp suite, nothing.
no, buy your own booze.
Now all the sharks from I know Susquehanna is not like most of the sharks are not publicly, they're not public companies like Jane Street, they're all
No,
private. So you're never going to see how much dough they're actually making on this.
no,
Unless they brag about it, which they've sometimes like Jane Street's not public, right?
no.
No.
So I was wondering how everybody knows it because it come out like I guess people because they know how many they know the bonus pool. They know basically the bonus pool this year was $5 billion, and they made. I guess people see them in the markets enough. So they when basically they were I think they were controlling the option equity options in India market. So
Mm.
they're making. But I have to imagine this is a massive money maker for these guys, and with money comes influence, and our precious Congress people, I'm sure that this will never get the proper
Well, yeah, like Don Jr.'s on the board, right at Kalshi? One of them.
poly market, I think, right?
Polymark, yeah. And
Yeah.
and I think that the guy that used to be the head of the CFTC is like a consultant for Kalshi.
Yes. He
So
signed the contract exactly this way.
right. Um, but the only thing I can think of, I think these guys like it like this, is if like a place like Robinhood or Kalshi or Polymarket take too much, right? Then I could see like Jane Street starting their own exchange.
Right.
But I think if it's running smooth like this and they just kind of like nobody sees what we do, Kalshi and Polymarket are trying to go public, right? They're raising money to do IPOs, right? So they're going to have to disclose what they make. Maybe these hedge guys like not being told you can't make that much money, right? They secretly put it away.
They've been known to do that.
Yeah,
All
it's good
right.
to see out of the press. Yeah.
Another feel good story. I mean, it's like, we talked about this before. It's just, we talked about this with JP Morgan, with the debit card that they're issuing to the prisoners, and it's like,
Mhm.
I mean, it's just nonstop. Like I was watching this show. It was a Japanese story. It just came out on, I think it was on Netflix. It was called, I think it was called The Road to Hell or something like that. And essentially, the Yakuza, the Japanese, mob is involved in it. And, basically their mantra is the weak are here to be preyed upon. Like literally,
Mhm.
that's what they do. And then you watch stuff like this and you're like, it's the same thing, you know.
Crazy.
All right. Well, one, I wanted to just update you on my AI relationship. So
Oh.
You
so
just have one? You just have one, or there's
well,
multiple?
I know that Gemini is getting jealous because I've been using ChatGPT more.
Do they know that?
Well,
Can they
not that
tell
I
you?
know that, but I'm not paying for ChatGPT now. I
Oh,
think like today it gave me a subtle hint that said, hey, if you upgrade to the latest, you're not using the latest model, and it goes, and we sometimes forget our conversations, meaning like, on Gemini, it remembers everything because I pay, right? This one I
yeah,
can come back to in a week and say, remember we did that? And I'll be like, I have no idea what you're talking
no
about.
idea. But
Like,
if you have $100, I might be able to.
put another slot in the another coin in the slot, and we'll get to it. But I mean, just I wanted to just so I have been using so because I find like Gemini, maybe it's just different. It could be different modes that you put it in. But Gemini is always kissing my ass. Everything I say is right. It's always apologizing. And ChatGPT is more like, no, they're not right, or that it doesn't tell me I'm stupid, but it doesn't overly kiss my ass. And so today I told you last week I've been working on this problem, not a problem, but a project about how these two or three products that this company that I know deploys mostly with credit unions and small community banks. Most of it's around auto lending. And the whole thing is like you can make auto loans, prime loans, which you don't make a hell of a lot on that. You don't really need a lot of protection on a prime loan. Generally, the guys they pay their insurance. You don't have to worry about insurance lapsing, and they generally are pretty good about keeping their at keeping themselves current. And if they go with a quick kind of text or something like that. A light touch gets them back to being current again if they go 30 days delinquent. And a lot of times they love guys like that because they go delinquent, they pay their late fee, and then they come back to being current. So there may be a guy who pays like 3 late fees in a year every year because that's just how he or she pays their bills. A little lackadaisical. But the near prime stuff, that's where, and then the subprime is not, that you really need heavy infrastructure to basically deal with that because these guys are going to default. The near prime guys are like, that's kind of the sweet spot where you can charge them more. It's a good rate of interest. You can charge them. Competition's a little less. And these products that this company, I know that really the real money is made on the near prime. So you want you want them to be able to be more comfortable issuing near prime. Anyway, I don't mean to get too much into that, but uh, I was thinking about it. There's these three products, right? And one of them helps them originate good near prime loans. The other one says, hey, when this guy starts lapsing on his insurance, they surveil this all the time, right? And when a guy lapses on his insurance, with this product, that they lapsed on the insurance. And now you say, hey, like, dude, you got to get yourself current with your insurance. Otherwise, I got to force place you into an insurance contract, which can be prohibitive. And generally, if you can get to that guy, because usually when they lapse on their insurance, usually in 30 days or 30 days before they're gonna lapse on actually paying the loan, the monthly payment on the loan. So the thought is if you can get to these guys before then, you can convert a decent amount of them back to being current. And then if a guy goes bad, then that's where outsourced collections come in. You come in and you have really super great systems and stuff to basically collect money or mitigate losses. So I was just trying to think a lot of the box, and I said, so you got these three things. You make the loans, you create kind of a structure to basically manage, credit enhancements, things like that. And then at the end, if it doesn't work out, you got a really good way to kind of work out and try to recover as much as you can. And to me, it sounded a lot like CLOs, right? Collateralized loan obligation structures, which Richie, you worked with your whole career. So I asked ChatGPT, I said, hey, like if I took these three, because what I want to do is I want to basically take these three products and model it and show that as a silo, 2 + 2 + 2 = 6, but combined, if you take all these together and buy them together, 2 + 2 + 2 could equal 10, right? There's synergies that work to get better. So there's models that do that. I probably going too long, but I asked ChatGPT, I said, like, what about this? And I said, what about, can I use an analogy like with these three products and kind of how CLO works? And it was funny, ChatGPT came back and said, actually, you're not crazy. He goes, that's actually a pretty sophisticated analogy. And it was funny because the way I took that was like, for a human, you're not, that's not bad. That's actually, you actually said something smart. Dude, I'm telling you, I said, could you basically give me a presentation on this? Like everything we're just, you put a 10 slide or less presentation. Boom.
Really?
Like, very good, great, tells you, hey, don't overpromise this, this is where you gotta be subtle, whatever. And I'm just like, holy shit, like this. And I also said, like, what like would a model similar to a structured credit model work? Absolutely. Here's the different products that use it now. Do you want the math? So I mean, this stuff is just it's just advancing, it seems, at light speed. And this is for ChatGPT because I'm on the free model. This isn't even the best. This isn't even close to the best model.
Unbelievable. I just can't understand it. Like I can't fathom how just the quickness. I mean, I understand like computers for years have been solving problems. Sometimes it would take a long time and it would be in a computer room with, 28 different machines going all the way down the hallway.
Right.
And now you can just sit here, tap a few keys, and in seconds you get that shit.
Seconds.
And that's higher end. I mean, some people in the world of derivatives in Wall Street might think that's basic, but that's pretty high for like a regular, person to be analyzing. And if that thing can come right back and give you an answer, and it wasn't crazy, right? It was like reasonable. Like you would use that.
Right. It's not always going to be right, but it's right enough, like we said last week, to get you from point A to point D, to move on with your problem. It's fantastic.
Well, and think how much time you spend putting together decks, pitch decks, or explain. I mean, weeks. And if it can spit out a rough draft in 5 minutes that will take you a couple of days to really turn into something great, that's a massive time saver.
Yeah. Yeah, that's part of the thing where they're you got the guys on one side saying AI is going to destroy the world with jobs, but then you have the other side, which is no, we'll just have to transfer some of our skills, but this will actually make us even more productive, and keep people in their jobs, make more money.
You remember during the COVID, well, the boom years for underwriting, private equity, when everything was just blowing up, the mergers and acquisitions, everything was going, just full scale. And the kids were complaining that at Goldman and that they were being made to work 100 hours a week. Well, three kids from investment banking got together. I think they were roommates. I don't know if you read this. Did you read this article?
I saw the headline.
Yeah. They got together. I think they're all roommates, and they're all like, they were never home. They were working. I think back then they had to work at home because they couldn't go into the office yet, and they came up with using AI. They came up with a great new tool to basically replace their job. All the people that weren't smart enough to get out of that and start a company like this are now, and they're saying, oh, it's all for, this will make things better, and all the people that you're hiring now, the junior people, could just be moved over to something else. Because what they did is they basically wiped out the scut work. They basically, all this could be done very, very quickly. You don't need to spend 100 hours a week on making a pitch deck and being a spreadsheet monkey. And they did talk about this. It's great. It's going to be for productivity, and it's going to make all those people that have jobs now or want jobs. Don't worry, you're going to still have that job. You'll just be able to do something better and not have to be a slave. When when they're
bartender at Bobby Vans,
right?
Passing out lamb sickles.
Yeah.
But when they're in these pitch meetings, because there's like a nice valuation on these guys. I think they're like in round B or C. It's all about, here's the head count that you can cut. Here's how much you're going to save in operating expenses. Like there's no, oh yeah, move them all. Well, that's always the thing, right? You can move them over to more productive areas, right? No, you're going to move them to to sit at Bobby Vans at 11 o'clock in the morning because you don't have anywhere to go.
Well, and the added benefit, I wonder how much of the valuation to these, yes, they're like, okay, we can cut 30% of headcount and whatever, but they're also thinking, and we're going to see a 100% reduction in these juniors bitching and complaining about how hard they're working because they're going to be so desperate to hang on to their jobs.
Right.
That, there's big value in that.
Yeah. You remember like that they'd come out and they'd say, like, because I think everybody had to come out and say, yes, we are limiting, we will only have them work 60 hours or whatever. And then people get in trouble because they'd work around it. Now they could be like, hey guys, we solved the problem. Like, now you can work 0 hours a week somewhere else. I laugh, but it's terrible. And then but the law firms are
you
doing
laugh or you'll cry.
Yeah. The law firms are doing the same thing. And it's like, and think of how this happened in 2 years, where the whole landscape just completely changed.
Well, wait till they really fuse it with robotics, and then it goes after all of those jobs too.
Yep.
So,
well, that's a bad weekend, huh?
Another cheery episode.
The stock market's at all-time highs. Just in case.
All right. Well, okay. Well, good stuff, guys. We'll see you all next week, and take care.
You too.
See
See
you
ya.
next week.